What's going on, everybody out there, and welcome back to another Dark Avenger comic book review episode. And guys, this is the last Dark Avenger comic book review episode for the year of 2017, which means we are going to be dropping those announcements for 2018 now, as opposed to the books that came out this past Wednesday, which that episode we will be recording next week, which is in the new year. So before we get into that news, we're going to talk about the comics. Now, I know everybody's celebrating this week. I know it's a holiday season. So we are going to literally be doing things super fast for this review and this review only, because we want to get to the end of the review, because we're going to be talking about 2018 and what is going to be happening with the Dark Avenger comic book review series. Now, I did do my Dark Avenger podcast. I recorded it last night. It's up now. It's live. If you'd like to know what my plans are fully, not just for this channel, but all around on the internet for 2018, go check that podcast out. I'll probably touch on a few things there too, in case you guys don't listen to the podcast. I'll let you guys know over here as well. But anyway, let's get into the comic books first. Now, like I said, we're going to go a little bit faster than we normally go, and it's the holiday season, so I'm sure you guys expect that. There are a few books from DC that I will take a little bit of extra time with, and that's because one of them is metal, obviously. Super Sons, or what was it called? Super Sons of Tomorrow, which is a two-part crossover that happened this week. I will be covering that, and then of course Batman, the double date. We're going to cover that. So real quick, we're going to start with the indies, go into the big two.
But
and Mike,
yes.
When were they released?
Okay, I didn't know. Well, they were released on December 20th, 2017.
That's right. So we're starting with the indies, we're starting with the digitals. And Angel. I feel like I missed issue number 12. Last issue of the season. I feel like I missed issue 11. I'm almost 100% sure I did miss issue 11, because the ending to 10 was, I think, with him and Fred kissing. And there was a bit of a gap, so I was a little lost at first. But it's the end of Angel, Season 11. I don't believe it's coming back for Season 12, nor do I believe Buffy is coming back for Season 12. They were advertising for Giles. It was a nice ending. Again, it all culminates from the story that I really wasn't feeling. I was thinking this was just a part one. Apparently, Angel and Buffy this time around focused on one story, and then the entire season was over. And Angel's was very weak this time. Angel and Faith was a lot stronger. There were a lot more stories connected to the overall gigantic picture. This one was just a very small picture. It was a full 1 year arc, and then that was it. I would call this at best a maxi series. 12 issues and then the season's done. So I don't know how I feel. I feel like this is one of the weaker stories from Angel that I've read. I'm not saying it was a bad story, but at the same time, I feel like, I don't know, I feel like I could have gotten a little bit more from Angel. Hopefully we'll see a Season 12 from both Angel and Buffy, but this was a bit weak. For Season 11 for both series, this was a very weak, for me. Buffy, I know a few people were enjoying it. Angel, I'm not sure if a lot of people were enjoying it. But I'm really hoping that after the Giles miniseries, we do get another season for Buffy and Angel, because I feel like they really need to come back after the weak season we just got. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, issue number 22. I don't trust that girl that used to be the Red Ranger. I forgot her name. Zordon's back, and that's really cool. I really did enjoy this episode. This issue a lot. I like that Jason wants to trust this girl because he feels like she can help the Rangers. Zordon knows with the Finster problem. You got Rita, who wants to... She knows she failed after the whole Lord Draken thing, and now she has a plan that she's coming up with or working on. And it's very... This story, this series is very interesting. And then at the end of the book, we find out that there actually is something that the woman is not telling the Power Rangers. And this goes back to what Zordon was saying, where he was like, you really can't trust her 100% because she's willing to do a little bit more to save the world than a norm. Like, she's willing to cross a few lines, possibly. And I like how we're seeing there's a possibility for that.
Alright, so we're going into my books now. Ninjak, issue number 2. I really, really want to give this book another chance, but I can't. I'm dropping it. Because the dialogue is so heavy that I could barely understand what's going on in this issue. The only thing I got is that Ninjak's going after this other spy known as Ninja C, or however they call it. And there's like this whole thing where he had past murders and stuff like that, so Ninjak's going after him, and they encounter with each other in the end. I really want to give this series another issue, but I can't. So I have to drop Ninjak because it's just
you're
not
loving
my
you're loving
interest.
EXO anyway. So
Right, and yeah.
And there are other books you're reading from Zenescope and from Valiant.
Well, there are other books, such as Big Trouble in Little China, Old Man Jack, issue number 4. There are 2 characters that actually come back in this issue. The first character we see is Pete, like remember that big orangutan? So he appears in this for a few issues, but then Wang, who was Old Man Jack's friend, but in this universe now, he doesn't trust Jack with anything. He wants to go and fight off against Chang-Chi, that demon guy that they're looking for. So he goes with him and Lopan on this adventure to find him in order to spare their lives, because he wanted to kill them. So he says, if this diverts my quest to going after him, I'm going to kill both of you. But I'm sparing your life because you're going to bring me to him, then I'm going to not kill you. So it's do or die for both of them or whatever. The Shadow issue number 5, it was pretty interesting. Like, it still goes to the part where the nurse is trying to find more answers about the Shadow and, thank you. And what his plans are. Is he going to stay in the hospital bed and then he's going to only come out when he gets that antidote or something? Because that's what I only see in this issue. Like, I mean, it was a good issue where she's going around finding more stuff about the Shadow. But I feel like there's going to be more involved as the issue continues. So that's really all I got from the book. So it was a really great issue. I'd say you guys should check it out. Tomb Raider Survivors Crusade issue number 2. I could just sum this up in a few sentences. Lara Croft and Jones go on an adventure to the temple where they need to find this lost artifact. They go there, and Jones and Lara Croft, I feel like they have a chemistry with each other, both her and Jones, because they look out for each other like, you know, like maybe brother-sister or something like that, but in the end, though, it looks like Lara Croft might be doing things on her own because of the whole Jones not putting him at risk to do any more. We'll find out as the issue continues. And finally for me, from Zenescope, Grimm Tales of Terror, Volume 3, issue number 11. And this isn't a Mars Attack references. This is actually more about aliens who are invading a town, and they call this woman at a radio station, and she's thinking like, oh, it's Halloween night, you know, everybody's probably all pranking and stuff like that, but it's really not, because there are lots of other calls that come in. And here's the ironic part. The person behind all this is the woman at the radio station. I had a funny feeling that she had something to do with it, because you know how you have that feeling that it's her or that character, but you really don't want to count your chickens before they hatch. So that was really something, though. And the next issue of the Wax Museum, I can't even wait to see how that one's going to turn out with people. Really like a good scare story and everything for that series.
TMNT Universe 17, we get the conclusion to the Triceraton story. I really enjoyed it. I like the backstory. Again, TMNT Universe really gives a little bit more backstory. It was the Triceratons, their rebellion against the Utroms, how they left and escaped, and then obviously later joined up with the other, with the Kingdom in Dimension X to take down General Krang and the others, and then you got the side story with the 2 kid Triceratons. Nice story once again. I did look forward in solicits for TMNT Universe. They're bringing the Turtles back into TMNT Universe soon, so I'm going to be sticking with TMNT Universe. I believe, as a matter of fact, the next story arc, if I'm not mistaken, the Turtles are back.
Street Fighter Reloaded issue number 3. This is where we left off last time, where Ken encountered with Vega. And Vega kind of gets on Ken's little side a little bit. And we also get the first story about Ryu probably not trying to lose control or anything. Really like the artwork, though. The artwork in the comic book of Reload is really awesome. And what she does, what he does, is to try to find out more information from Eliza, who is Ken's fiance and stuff like that. Luckily for Ken, when he comes back, he has a little fight against him. And we also get Guile, who encounters with Charlie, which he's been looking for God knows how long. And that's when it ends to be continued, where he knocks out Guile. And then the second story was the tournament about, feeling... Now, I thought that when he said Eliza was gone, I thought, dead. But it was actually just being separated because of what he is. So, in the end, it turned out that Eliza just had to understand that what he does is what he's been doing. Just trying to understand him more of fighting and what he fights for. If that makes any sense.
Invincible, the penultimate finale series issue number 143, 144 is the grand finale. Mark is avoiding Marky. He's avoiding telling the boy, that he's his father. He's taking over he's now in his father's place, Mark. He's leading the Vultramites, and his belief is that they can't stay on Earth because that's where all the problems are happening. So they decide to go back into space again, and Marky actually develops his powers a bit early. Mark actually admits to being Marky's father. He wants to take all the Vultramites away from Earth to keep Earth more peaceful. And I love how Eve is kind of like, you sure everybody's going to listen? He's like, I'm their emperor. Of course they're going to listen. And of course, the last page has Marky's father or stepfather and his sister's biological father.
So the next issue is the last issue.
Yes, of the series completely. And he's basically saying, I don't want to cause a problem, but I'm not coming with you. So the whole problem now is the fact that he's trying to take the Vultramites away from Earth, and now Marky and this little girl are staying on Earth, and it's not what Mark wants. So the question now is, how is this all going to end?
We'll find out.
Yes, I'm very excited to see how the grand finale is. I felt like there could have been a little bit better of a setup for the last issue, but we'll see where it goes. Now, with the gigantic amount of books we had this week, I don't even know how many books did we have this week.
We had 27, including 27. The digitals.
27 books. This is X-Men Grand Design. And when I say this is X-Men Grand Design, I'm talking this is a gigantic book that would take, with tons of dialogue, that would take it basically takes us back to the early days of the X-Men. And, it's the original team. You got Magneto. I love how they kind of did I swear, down to the smell. This is like the old comic pages. And it's really cool that they, the yellowing and the old, and even the feel of the pages. It feels like, the older comics.
Yeah, wow.
And I like it. I like this. I like where they're going with this book. I like the idea behind this book. Unfortunately, I did not have the time to read this entire book. This book has a lot of story to it. And I like that. That's a huge plus for this series. And I believe this mini is 3 parts long. How many pages? It says here. There's about 40 pages to this book. And it is only a $6 book.
Didn't the back just tell you a guide of what they did on each page? Yeah.
Yes.
All this.
Gave you a rundown.
So that
the Blob, they give you facts. Like the last page, the Blob first appeared in X-Men number 3 in 1964. Eunice, the Untouchable in X-Men 8, and the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants X-Men 4. So they give you nice facts as well.
That's so nice.
Issue number 2 is in 2 weeks. I love this. This is definitely part of my. This is going to be part of my X-Men collection that I am going to be reading in my spare time. I'm going to be enjoying it a lot, but I really do recommend everybody who is an X-Men fan go out and check out X-Men Grand Design. This was a really, really... I just honestly got to the middle of this book. I'm really enjoying it. I think any X-Men fan will as well, and I believe we're going to be going through the whole Grand Design, as they say, of the X-Men. So check it out. The next couple of books are a little bit lower for me this week, and I got The Fate of the Four. This is Marvel 2-in-1, issue number 1. It's The Thing and Human Torch. Basically, we got the Thing, who's remembering back right before the Fantastic Four, before Sue and Reed and the kids disappeared. Sue, it's the next stamp, which is the Black Panther stamp.
For Wakanda.
Where Sue made Ben promise that, he would take care of Johnny, and Dr. Doom ends up having a message that Reed left for the Thing, and he didn't tell the Thing till now. Johnny's apparently losing his powers, and the Thing gives him this false hope that Sue, Reed, and the others are out there, which we know as the reader is true, but everybody else in the Marvel Universe believe they're gone. And now you got Doctor Doom, who's actually watching on and saying, "Oh, Ben, you're such a liar." And then you get a little backstory on the Fantastic Four. I think this is going to be more of a casual read for me. I don't think I'll be reviewing the rest of 2-in-1. I will be reading it, and I might even talk about it on Frontline Live. But as far as this review show goes, I'm reading 27 books here. I'm reading a lot of books. So this is one of my casual read books. I might bring it up again. It all really depends on time, and if I have the time to read it, I'll bring it up. If I don't have the time to read it, let's say I don't review issue 2, this all goes into the announcement, so I really want to wait till we get to the announcement. Incredible Hulk 711. I don't know how I feel anymore about. I don't know. I was feeling Amadeus Cho Hulk on Planet Hulk, but now I'm kind of like, everybody's telling him you gotta let go. You gotta be willing to lose control a bit, or else everybody's gonna die. You gotta bring out.
Basically, remember who you are.
No, basically bring out the Hulk.
Oh,
the way he was with Banner and Cho and Amadeus doesn't want to do it, and then he's finally starting to see now that he might have to, and of course because of the Thor movie, Thor comes in the end, and now it's going to be Thor versus Amadeus Hulk. Who didn't see that coming? And Thor's under some type of mind control. So I don't know how I feel about this series. I think I'm moving it back to a digital read fully because I wanted to like this a lot more than I am, and I really thought after Weapon X I would. Not really.
Oh, I called that a different title. I didn't see the.
Oh, we'll fix it later. Old Man Logan, issue number 32. I'm really not digging this Scarlet Samurai story arc. As a matter of fact, I had a feeling I knew who the Scarlet Samurai was without reading. I'm sure they mentioned it already in solicits for February and March. I didn't look at the solicits for Old Man Logan because I wanted to, I didn't want to ruin anything. But obviously they brought this person back. It was a female to become the Crimson Samurai. Silver Samurai has a funeral. Obviously Silver Samurai is not dead. We get to see that he's actually alive. We see them using the healing factor, a drug on members of the Hand, and then we also find out that Crimson Samurai is actually Wolverine's girlfriend from many years ago, Miroko. To be continued. Old Man Logan. Ever since they announced Wolverine being back, other than All New Wolverine, which I am loving Laura's book, you should definitely all be checking that out. When they announced that that our Wolverine is somehow back and he's on this quest to find the Infinity Gems, and I'm sure this is going to play into, of course, now that that people have stepped down. They said, well, now that people stepped down, that promise of 11 months, yeah, we weren't going to do an event for 11 months or 2 years or whatever. Yeah, that's out the door with them. We're going to do an event, and we're going to do it soon. So, number one, I won't be getting that event. I kind of feel I feel like I shouldn't have even gotten Secret Empire. I will not be getting the next event that Marvel's planning either. I will not be getting that. We all knew that they weren't going to stick to their word anyway. There was going to be some excuse to bring the next event in, but it's going to connect somehow to our Wolverine returning. And I don't know how I feel about Old Man Logan. Might move it to a digital read, or I might just drop it all together. I'm going to let the story arc play out digitally, and then depending on where the next story goes is where I'll go with the series. I mean, you got Old Man Hawkeye right now out for 12 issues. I'm not reading that, but there's that. Peter Parker, The Spectacular Spider-Man 298. Pete gets broken out of jail, basically. Long story short, he gets broken out of jail. He is trying to get his sister out of New York. Aunt May is safe with the Tinkerer's brother. You got J. Jonah Jameson trying to find the Tinkerer. There's the Vulture and the others end up attacking the bridge where Spider-Man is because they're trying to track him down. There's an awesome action that happens in this book. Awesome fight. Black Panther was in the neighborhood, so obviously he shoots by and offers Pete's sister a place to live in Wakanda, so she won't be chased by the feds in America anymore. And then you find out that Vulture says that everyone needs to be we need everyone send everyone to deal with the Spider-Man problems. So Pete's sister might have a place to stay, and now you got the Tinkerer sending a bunch of people to Spider-Man. I don't know. I've honestly, with all the Spider-Man books lately, I haven't been as excited as I wanted. I am, however, enjoying Peter Parker out of the main 2 Spider-Man books the best. So I probably will be holding on to this book digitally. I don't think I'll be collecting it physically anymore. Renew Your Vows is not part of the main 2. I'll probably still be reading that digitally as well. But we'll get to that when we talk about the next issue. I will be getting the month of January. Everything we have physically here, we will have physically again. It's the month of February where things are going to change. Again, I'm going into the announcement before we even finish these books, and I'm pushing the time even further along. X-Men Gold issue 18. I really was not digging this story arc with Kitty lost in space, so she gets given back to the X-Men. Something's going on with Rachel. Nightcrawler, the leader, says is dead. He says he was dead. You know, we don't have him. He died. A big fight breaks out between the X-Men and this guy, this alien and his people. They wake up this god, and of course, Nightcrawler is alive, but nobody knows that, including the alien guy. So they wake this god up. This big fight's going on, and now Nightcrawler sees it. And of course, because he's immortal now, because heaven won't have him, because he left heaven, he ran away from heaven. Now he's kind of like, he survives that teleport that happened in the end of the last issue, but now you got the X-Men fighting this big alien godlike thing, and the whole story arc really, at this point, I feel like it's just to put a bow on that guy from the first story arc, the alien from the first story arc that everybody thought was a mutant but really wasn't. And honestly, I can't wait for the story arc to be over to see where we're going next.
This book I reviewed on Comic Frontline, Luke Cage issue number 168. Just to give a briefie, it talks about the story of Menard Tybalt, who's the ring master, about how he got his psychic powers and behind the scenes of how he gets his powers, along with Luke Cage just working in the mines underground. And yeah, just things get like just really chaotic with you know, Menard using too much of his power, and how people are being treated in the mine. But now that everything has been going a little haywire, now it seems that Luke Cage is under the rocks when something's happened when they were trying to bury them with the bolts that bounced off him, and he's under the rubble. And we all know he's going to survive. I mean, it's just that. And why is this comic book not going in? Thank you. Wait, gives me trouble. So I'll be looking into the next issue of that and definitely seeing what's going to happen of Luke Cage.
The Defenders, issue number 8. Brian Michael Bendis has officially left Marvel for DC, and Defenders is one of, just like Luke Cage, the many books that Marvel is canceling.
I couldn't believe it. Yeah.
March? I'm not sure.
Didn't you say February?
February or March. One or the other. So I will be getting Defenders all the way through. And obviously Defenders is only going to be one story arc then because of that. So you've got you've got Diamondback trying to take over the underworld. Black Cat now back to her people. And we find out that behind the scenes, also Deadpool gets kicked out of the Defenders.
Oh, we didn't see that coming.
Really quickly. It was awesome and hilarious. Punisher's back in jail for a minute. And then we find out that there is actually another kingpin behind the scenes. Obviously, Hammerhead survives, so he doesn't die, by the way.
So wait, Hammerhead?
He's brought back by the person who says, tell everyone the new kingpin of New York is here, and that person is the Red Hood. So a lot of people are fighting for the kingpin role of New York. Honestly, at this point, if I didn't know Defenders was ending, I would either be reading this till the end of the first story arc and moving it digital, or I would have already dropped it. It's an interesting story. Again, a lot of my want to read this series was because of the Defenders on Netflix. I really wanted to give the Defenders a shot. I'm not really feeling it. Just like Iron Fist, I'm not feeling the Defenders comic book as much as I was feeling the Defenders Netflix series. But it was worth a try, and it's ending anyway. So I'll continue it through. Venom Inc. Part 3 in Venom 159. Long story short, Black Cat, Spidey and the now anti-Venom Flash versus Mayhem and all of his people. They have to stay away from Flash because he's the anti-Venom, and obviously Mayhem knows that, Flash can do something to the symbiotes, but Flash is able to free Black Cat. Black Cat gets away, finds Eddie Brock, and guess what? Luck of all luck, by the end of the issue, Eddie gets his symbiote back because the symbiote was left in the apartment, unattended, free, in the bathroom, just runs right into a drain pipe. Boom. Venom is back. Who didn't see this coming? So now, and then also Spider-Man and Flash are now prisoners of Mayhem. So Lee now has Spider-Man and Flash. I believe the next issue we're going to be seeing a not-so-friendly neighborhood Spider-Man due to the cover, and also I've seen a lot of titles of reviews. Obviously, we're doing this late. This week's books already came out 3 days ago, so people are already talking about Amazing Spider-Man, which is the next part, and it looks like Spider-Man is going to be possessed by Lee, by Mayhem. So we'll see where that goes. We're now in DC Comics. I'm going to do the crossover first, but by no means is this my least favorite book. This is one of my favorite books of the week. Batman TMNT 2, issue number 2 of 6. So Batman is putting together a machine to bring Donatello back, and obviously for him and Robin to go with Donatello to bring Bane back to their world. And in this time, of course, Bane has been on the Turtles universe, in the Turtles world, for over a week. Yeah, New York is on fire. And he's apparently leading the Foot Clan as we speak. I love it. The hand was in Marvel. Now we're doing the foot in DC, IDW. But anyway, Batman and Robin and Donatello, they're back. The Turtles coming back from a bad fight. They're happy to see everybody, and they also find out it's Donnie's fault. And now, Batman realizes there's no Venom on the Turtles universe, and Bane's Venom is really low. Plot twist, as Batman says it, it looks like Bane has hired the help of one Baxter Stockman to make him a synthetic Venom. To be continued. So there was, when I saw Batman talk about the Venom, I said, okay, so by the end of this issue, or by the middle of, or the beginning of next issue, we're gonna have Bane looking to make Venom, and that's exactly what we got. Awesome artwork, great story. Now, Batwoman issue number 10. I am done with Batwoman physically. I believe I will be getting Batwoman for January. I'm just not feeling the character. I'm not feeling the series. They defeat Scarecrow. She's taken in by the, oh, jeez. Why did the name leave me? But Batwoman's father, and I forgot his people. But anyway, she's taken in by them. He wants her to join him and the rest of his people. Why did their name... It just completely left my mind for a moment. And obviously she turns him down. She ends up leaving. There's something connected with Sophia, and it just ends kind of like that. I don't know. I really, at this point, I'm not really deep into this book anymore. Ever since this Scarecrow story arc started, I started losing more and more interest in the series. I would say this would be one of my lowest picks of the week. I just can't follow Batwoman. I tried multiple times, I believe, to get into Batwoman during Brightest Day. I tried getting into it when, I think, was there a Batwoman for New 52, or was she in another series?
It was in New 52.
It was Batwoman in New 52. I couldn't get into it then, and I just cannot get into it now.
Wasn't she the one with Poison Ivy, or was that another
No.
Batgirl? I think it was Batgirl, maybe.
Maybe, but no, not Batwoman. Interesting, but not for me. I'll probably casually read Batwoman from time to time, obviously, because stuff is going to be crossing over with Batman at some point, I'm sure. Trinity issue number 16. Yes, I'm back on the book, and man, was this book... It's a one-story, one and done. Deathshot saves Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman, because apparently his daughter was taken captive, and now he has to save her. It's these aliens attacking. You got Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman who get involved. Awesome artwork, and in the end, they save Deadshot's or Bloodshot's daughter. He goes back to jail, and in the end, he ended up saving the day, and it's like a Happy New Year, kind of like end of the year celebration kind of book. It was okay. It was a one and done story. I really would be okay if they dropped Trinity DC, and a month later, revealed that they were bringing back Batman and Superman World's Finest. I'd be okay with that. I really, truly would. I don't know why DC Comics wants to throw in a Trinity right now. We really don't need a Trinity, but Obviously, Wonder Woman's one of the bigger movies that DC, one of the only good movies that DC's released, or one of their best-selling movies at least. So I guess they want to throw Wonder Woman in there to keep it more than just Batman, Superman. But to be honest, I love Batman, Superman, World's Finest. Pre-New 52, right before they ended it. It would be so awesome. And then I did not like the New 52 version. We won't talk about that version, but I really wish they'd try Batman, Superman, World's Finest again. And if they have to sacrifice a book, sacrifice Trinity. But we're losing Superwoman. But at the same time, you can't have Trinity and Batman, Superman. It's basically Trinity without Wonder Woman then. I don't know. Trinity is definitely one of the weaker books that Superman's involved for me. Not including any books connected in the Super family. Nightwing issue 35, The Untouchable. A villain that has been evading capture by Nightwing appears in Bloodhaven, and he knows that this game is on. We find out also Dick Grayson's now running a training gym, and this guy, I forgot his name, he was Dr. Somebody, oh god, the Judge is back, and Nightwing's tried to catch him several times and failed, and now he's kind of invaded Bloodhaven, and he's looking to draw blood from Nightwing, to take him down once and for all. And the story kind of ends on a really deep cliffhanger. Apparently there's these golden casino chips that bring out the worst in people, I will say that. Very interesting. We'll be checking out more. I am actually very happy to announce, and you guys will see this when we do our Brooklyn Boys Christmas haul, hopefully this weekend. I actually am starting to catch up on Pre-New 52 Nightwing. Volumes 1 through 6 I got for Christmas. Volume 7 we have pre-ordered for, I believe it comes out in February. I believe there's only going to be about 10 or 12 volumes for Nightwing. Figure if they do 10 issues or 8 issues in each, no, it might be more than 12, but we're going to get there together. All right, now we're in the home stretch here. Metal, issue number 4. I'll tell you guys, man, Metal is losing me a little bit. I'm really not really... Metal, I feel like, is taking forever to come out. You got all the superheroes in the universe going for the 9th Metal. You got Batman who frees Superman, and apparently they're super old because they were in the battery so long they grew old. Sandman ends up saving them. He can't get involved, but he's giving them the tools they need in order to take down Barbados. And I hate that Batman second-guessing himself something awful. It's very out of character for Bruce to have just given up, even if he was stuck in that dream world for 30 years. And it's dark for even Bruce to second-guess himself. Also, Kendra ends up getting sucked in and becomes Lady Blackhawk. We also find something out about Carter in the end of this issue, but Superman and Batman are looking for the Forge of Worlds to try to save, the world. Also, I like how in the very beginning of the issue, it's the Dark Superman, or the Superman from the Dark Universe, that actually free Batman, and one of the Supermen from the Dark Universe, ironically, is the Blue Energy Superman, which is weird. I don't know why why the Blue Superman or the Blue Energy Superman would be part of the Dark Universe, but anyway, things go bad. I mean, by the end of the issue, it looks like all hope is lost. And I love how the narration from Sandman says, and with those words, this book and all hope burns to ash. So, we're in issue 4 of 6. Only 2 issues left. And basically, it looks like everything's hopeless. The Justice League, all the superheroes have failed. And how they're going to resolve all this in 2 issues, it's going to be very, very interesting. Obviously, Metal is bringing in, and I believe they have the poster in the back of all the DC books, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, they do. The DC Universe just got a lot bigger, introducing new superheroes. So in between each known DC superhero is a new hero, except for Plastic Man, which for some reason is not a new superhero, but is being explained as a new superhero during Rebirth, during Metal, during everything. So they're expanding the DC Universe into Metal. So that's where Metal is going from here, and the only reason I'm sticking with it at this point, we're 4 issues, we're 2 issues away. I've made our pre-order for February. Guess what? Metal is ending in February, so we'll finish it off in February. Now, the next 2 issues are Super Sons of Tomorrow, starting in Superman. Tim Drake Batman is somehow back. We don't know how, and for those of you that want to know the Tim Drake Batman story, go over to Detectives. I reviewed it. I believe it just ended, as a matter of fact, 1 arc ago. But Tim Drake Batman left. Now, for some reason, he's back. He confronts Bruce first, takes Bruce out, then goes to the Fortress of Solitude, takes Superman out. Why? Why is Tim Drake Batman back? Because he must kill Superboy. Because Superboy is going to do something in the future that is going to destroy their world. And it's because Tim Batman, when he left the present-day DC, was shot off into the future. And something that John does in the future destroys all of Metropolis and millions of people end up dying. In Super Sons, issue number 11, we see what's been going on with John and Damian. He's actually fighting alongside the Titans without the Titans actually knowing, because Damian promised John, hey, I'll take you on a Titan mission one day, and never does. And he explains he did that just because, hey, I wanted to get you off my back. And then Tim Batman attacks. He tries to stop John, and let's just say a big old explosion happens. I don't want to spoil this book. It was really good. And again, in Superman, actually, in this book, Tim Batman brings up Connor. He said, Connor worshipped the ground you walk, that Superman walked on. And it went right over Superman's head, but he mentioned Connor. That's mention number 2. I'm waiting, because the third mention and the end of this book is definitely slowly going to bring back the 3 characters we see at the end of the book. So basically this explosion knocks out not only Tim Batman, but the entire Teen Titan group. But because this happens, Tim's dampener, so that nobody could find him, is damaged. So the Titans from the dark future actually find out. And guess who is on the last page? Bart, Cassie, and Connor Superboy. And they're going to bring Tim back, as they said, together. Well, this is the Dark Titan universe where they're adults, where they grow up. And that's moving into Teen Titans next.
That's what I'm reading. Oh.
No, that's what I'm reading because I'm doing.
Titans.
No, I know. I read it because I'm doing the Super Sons miniseries, so I'm taking over Teen Titans.
I want to see Connor Kent too. I mean,
yeah, you can see it too, but it's fine. But I'm just saying you're going to be lost. Well, now you won't because I just told you what happened. But mention Connor twice. Connor's going to be showing up soon, and Bart and Cassie along with him. I feel like we're getting the Young Justice back within this year of 2018. I swear, or we're going to get a story arc that's going to go into 2019, but I doubt it because Rebirth's supposed to be ending by the end of 2018, so we're going to get Young Justice back.
Didn't it end already because it's now DC Universe?
Yes and no. We still have to deal with the Dr. Manhattan problem. So I feel like we will get Young Justice back very soon. Last book, favorite book of the week, it goes to Batman, issue number 37, The Double Date. Superman, Lois Lane, Batman, Catwoman. I really don't even want to spoil this book because there were so many good moments, so I'm not. But let's just say they go on a date. They go to this this fair, but it's a superhero costume fair, so Batman and Superman switch costumes. So Bruce is Superman and Clark is Batman. Lois dresses up. Lois dresses up as Catwoman. Catwoman goes as herself. It was just an awesome back and forth with dialogue between Clark and Batman, Clark and Bruce, Lois and Selena, and then Clark and Selena. It literally bounced the 4 of them talking about each other, talking about their spouses, talking about their opposite spouses. And one thing that sticks while Batman and Superman are doing the batting cages, Superman's like, if I pitched to you, I would strike you out. You wouldn't be able to hit my pitch. And I knew when they started talking about that, switch costumes, and by the end of the issue, they are on at the diamond, and Superman does the pitch, and what happens? There's no spoiler here, because Batman ends up hitting the ball, and it was awesome. This was an awesome, awesome story. You guys really, really should check out Batman issue 37 and 36. This was an awesome, this shows how close Batman and Superman really are. Superman, by the end of this issue, is very happy for Batman and Selena. Lois is very happy for both of them. And it fits so perfect. I really do hope DC makes this stick. I want a Batman wedding special. I really do. I really feel like Batman at this point...
It's bound to happen.
I mean, yeah, exactly. If they're going to marry Superman, if they're going to give Superman a child now, and they gave Batman Damian years ago... You could marry Batman off and still have Batman be Batman. And we all knew in the end he was going to end up marrying Catwoman because Huntress. Enough said. So anyway, let's now talk about where this review... That's it for this review, though, by the way, guys. So it's up to you guys now. Feel free to comment. any of your thoughts on any of the books we talked about here. Likes, dislikes, agree, disagree, recommendations. Any comment, we love hearing from you guys, and I try to answer back any comment that isn't a direct statement. If it's a direct statement, it's a little bit harder, but comments that have something that allows me to write back and interact, I will. So if you'd like an interaction, definitely leave something for me to write back with. If you'd like to leave a statement, that's completely fine too. It's just harder for me to give a reply when you're making a statement like, for example, Batman 37 was awesome. The best I could say there is, I agree. So, I mean, if you'd like, again, this is all about comments. Anyway, let's talk about 2018 now. The past 25 episodes from 24, from 401 to 24. I think we're up to 24 now. This should be 24. So, yeah. Whatever episode this is, I'm sorry. I know I should do my homework before we do these recordings. But anyway, for all these episodes, the 20-plus episodes, because it is at least 20-plus, I was on the fence about whether I was going to cancel the Dark Avenger comic book review series, whether I wanted to keep it going. Now, I had this dream of reaching that 1,000th review episode. And in hindsight, it's been 8 years already, and we are almost, well, 7 years. By the 8.5 year, we will hit 500 episodes. And that means another 8 years or more before we hit that 1,000 mark. And I mentioned this way back when we were doing 400. And looking at that really far goal, that really detailed and hefty weight I was putting on myself for these reviews, I shrunk it back to focusing on just getting to the next 100th and going from there. But what I was, honestly guys, and I'm not going to sugarcoat this, I was not very happy with the way the reviews were going. From before 400, honestly. I wasn't happy with that we were sitting for an hour plus talking about books. The reviews weren't getting, unless it was a live show. Live shows I did enjoy, and we'll get to why I'm about the live show format in a bit. But live shows I liked a little bit more because we had more interaction with you guys, and I liked that. But when we were doing shows like this, where we're recording late at night, we know nobody's going to be on, so we're just doing it as a video. Not too many people beyond a 20-minute mark. For example, this video is already 42 minutes. Not a lot of people are going to be either watching the full episode or even interested in checking out this review because it is super, super long. And when it comes to a live show, obviously people jump in live so they can talk with us, and then they've already seen the entire episode and had that moment of interaction as well. So I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy with the length. I wasn't happy that a lot of people, because it was so long, a lot of people were kind of dissuaded into watching the episodes, which obviously there was a decline in views because of that. And that's why throughout the entire month of November and December, Mike and I were testing a lot of things out, shrinking our reviews for books, shrinking the amount of books we're reading, trying out different methods to see if we can shrink the time. And in the end, we did come up with a definitive decision. And also the do we cancel the series was on the table. Good news is we are not canceling the Dark Avenger comic book review series. It is going to continue forward, but there are going to be changes. Number one, we like reviewing in a shorter format. Obviously, we were a bit medium. I would say we weren't super short, but we were short enough. We did go into details with certain books. Also, we liked doing our reviews fully digital, so we didn't have to worry if our books came on time, didn't come on time. If we finished reading our books by Sunday, and let's say our books didn't come, we could go fully into a review on a Sunday if we want to. So, starting with, if not next episode, the episode after that, we are going to be going fully digital. And what's going to happen is we are going to get our books probably tomorrow for this past Wednesday. That were from this past Wednesday. And we're going to try to read them as fast as we can. Now, I know I have a tall list coming in because I've seen a lot of the books that came out and a lot of people are already talking about. And I know that it's going to be a lot of reading. But I'm going to try my hardest to get a review to you guys by, honestly, latest Wednesday. And then we are going to, from Wednesday, start reading next week's books and try to get you guys a review as soon as possible. It's going to be all digital. And we're going to try to do our review shorter. But we're going to keep the series going. And on top of that, we're going to try doing it in a live show format. And we're going to try to stick to a Monday schedule. So, guys, for those of you that enjoyed watching the comic reviews on Monday, Michael and I will be doing, we're going to try our hardest. And you know what? And this goes back to me talking about dropping books. I actually did make a list up of books that I am moving digitally, fully. So if I do bring the haul video back, it will, number one, be on this channel. Number two, it will also be just books that we want to keep in our physical collection. As you guys know, we have a very large digital collection. As a matter of fact, every book that I've reviewed here, if not a good amount of them, are part of our digital pile. So we don't need the physical books. And I still will be doing the haul video, but now I lost my complete train of thought on what I was talking about. Wow. I don't know why, but for some reason I just zoned out for a moment. But digitally we get our books on Wednesday, so that's when we want to do the reviews and the haul video, like I said. Oh, dropping books. There are certain books. Our review, we have a lot of books. And it's a lot on us to get all of these books read. I brought myself back on my own. By the time we do a review. So what we're going to do is, and this is another reason why digital only is happening, whatever we get a chance to read, we're going to read, obviously, the books that are important to us first. Now, for Michael, that's easy because Michael doesn't have a huge list. More, this is for me, because I have, out of the 27 books here, I'd like to think I had 20 of them. I think you had about 7, maybe 10. Let's say I had about 17 books. Give or take. Yeah. So, doing the digital reviews, if I don't have a chance to read every single thing, I'm going to make sure I get the important books like Superman, Batman, Detective, Action read first. So this way, when Monday comes around, let's say I'm still missing 2-in-1, or I missed Old Man Logan, or another miniseries that came out. That's okay. I'll still get the review out on Monday, talk about it with you guys, and then you know what? There is Tuesday night, which is Frontline Live, where we talk about our top 5, and we all have such a diverse top 5 that 2-to-1, let's say I don't review 2-in-1 issue number 3. Let's just say. But then, let's say Brand has it in his top 5, or Kat, or Jay, or Mike Spider Slayer, or somebody has it in their top. Maybe Michael has it in his top 5. He's not going to read it, but I'm just saying. There's my chance right there to discuss that book on Tuesday. And it also allows me to, Monday night through to Tuesday, to read a little bit more. So for Frontline, I'll have something new to talk about as well. Not saying new reads are going to influence my top 5, but at the same time, new reads will also give me more stuff to discuss when we're in the comic book section of Frontline Live. But, yeah, there might be certain weeks where I'll skip an issue because I didn't get to read it. Obviously, I will give it an honorable mention because I don't like reviewing. For example, I did 2-in-1 and I mentioned I might move it to a casual read. I'll still mention when issue 2 comes out. But if I haven't read it yet, at least I'll have it mentioned. And if I do want to review issue 3, let's say I've read it and I want to talk about issue number 3, I can because I had already mentioned 2. I don't want to just skip around with issues. I don't want, as much as the review, we don't make money for doing these reviews. These reviews are our reviews. So honestly, I'm sure most of you are like, dude, you're not getting paid for it. Do what you want. It's your show. We're here. We support you. And I appreciate that. And we both appreciate that. But at the same time, I don't want this show to become sloppy. As much as, we want to shrink the episode so everybody won't be overwhelmed with an hour-long show. Because this is about to hit 49 minutes now. But at the same time, we want to be able to give you guys a good show. Regardless, 25 minutes, 50 minutes, an hour, however long it is, we want to be able to provide you guys with a good show, not a sloppy show. So we're going to, the main change, and I'm going to repeat it again just so that, because I feel like I went around the world and back again, so nobody's confused. The main change is we're going to try doing it as a live show every week, Monday night. It's going to be a strictly digital format. If we have our books physically and we want to show off, like let's say Mike wants to show off some artwork in a book, we'll show it. But if we don't have our books, it doesn't matter because it's a strictly digital review. We will be showing you guys the covers, doing short reviews of each book, unless we want to go into detail, which obviously I always do with Action, Batman, Detective, stuff like that. If there's a book that's worth discussing, we'll discuss it, and then we'll move on. If it's not a book worth discussing, for example, like Batwoman, talk about it a little bit, and we're going to move on. And that's how the reviews are going to work. Now, really quickly, I want to tell you guys, for those of you that missed out on the podcast, go listen to the podcast. It's going to explain to you guys what I'm about to tell you in greater detail. In the year 2018, my focus is going to be on work first, everything else second. When I say work, I'm talking about Last Ember Press 529 Studios, Celestial Falcon, my comic that I'm working on, we're working on getting issue number 2 out. We're hoping to get issue number 3 out as well in 2018. No promises, but we're working to get issue 2 out as we speak. That is my work first. Also, I'm thinking about going into comic flatting a little bit to make a little bit of extra money. So, that comes first. Everything else is going into a second format. Now, you guys know how YouTube's been lately. I don't have to explain to you. Everybody from popular channels down to unpopular channels has been talking about the way things are declining for YouTube as far as AdSense and stuff like that. So, we haven't made any money off of YouTube on Dark Avenger C86. We've made not much at all, honestly. And honestly, money is not what drives this channel. It's not what drives Frontline. It's not what drives any of us on YouTube. So we're not being driven by money. So the fact that we're making less money doesn't really hinder us from doing what we do. But at the same time, making money comes first. So that's why I'm saying this comes second. It means no insult, nothing against what we do on YouTube. It's just, family and making an income has to come first, especially for me and for Mike, for his future. Those things come first. Mike actually works outside of YouTube. He has a job outside of YouTube, but that comes first before YouTube. However, we do want to still do stuff on YouTube. We have some random video ideas for Dark Avenger for the future, and I am actually starting with not the next review, but the 425th, whichever one it is, whether it's the next one or the one after that. I'm going to start posting these reviews, and any video I do on this channel, I will make a post on comicfrontline.com, because that is still Dark Avenger C86, and every channel, everybody who's part of Frontline is part of Frontline, whether we do videos on Comic Frontline or on our personal channels. And one thing I'm going to be doing as a contribution to Comic Frontline is I'm going to make sure that all my reviews and stuff go on Comic Frontline, so that everybody who, let's say, don't check out my channel will at least see my reviews, will see any videos that Mike and I do. Like I said, random unboxings will be happening on this channel, possibly some collector's edition reviews for video games, collector's editions of other things. Anything is possible. The comic reviews, however, are a staple and will happen every single week. That is the only thing I can promise you guys on a schedule basis. Everything else is random. There might be an unboxing 1 week and then not one for 2 months. There might be an unboxing 2 weeks in a row and then not one for a month. There's no set plan schedule. If I bring the hauls back, those will be weekly unless something dramatically dire happens and I'm not able to do the haul video. But if we do continue the haul videos, those will be up every week as well. Other than that, Dark Avenger podcast. I'm really wanting to get that out at least once a month. And we are actually thinking about moving back to SoundCloud, because I'm also thinking about doing a 529 podcast. And we are doing very dire cuts to our physical pile so that we can afford to do a little bit extra online, which is why I mentioned SoundCloud. Now, SoundCloud is not anytime soon. If I do SoundCloud, it'll either be in January or February. There's no set date yet. But I am thinking about returning to SoundCloud for the podcast side. As far as Frontline, you guys know, we're there every Tuesday. Unless something happens, or unless we don't get our books read, or we're unable to make it, we are there. So we will still be on Frontline Live. Dark Avenger Live has been canceled. Now, I was going to cancel the comic reviews. Instead, I canceled Dark Avenger Live because we were grasping at straws the last couple of live shows. However, while it's canceled, it doesn't mean it's gone forever. If we have a topic that we want to talk about, we will announce on Tuesday that we are doing a Dark Avenger Live episode, and we'll go live. But it's not going to be on the weekly format anymore. It won't be part of the weekly live show slate anymore. So it'll be Frontline Live and Media Madness. If we have something to talk about, like the Chris and Brand show, Dark Avenger Live will be whenever we are able to do it instead. So Dark Avenger Live is canceled as a weekly, but still exists and can happen whenever Michael and I, have something to talk about, when we have an actual topic. Because I was kind of a little bit let down with how we've been handling things the past couple of weeks, and it kind of was a deterrent for me wanting to do Dark Avenger Live at all. But then I said, you know what, we'll bring it back if we have a topic. What the Card, that's all up to Mike, his time and his money, because What the Card is on our end. It's what Mike does now. Brant and Lisa, like I mentioned on the podcast, on their end, They can post whenever they want, just like we post whenever we can. Same goes for them. If they have something, they'll be posting it. If we have something, we'll be posting it. On our end, though, it all depends on Mike's money and Mike's time, because he's the one that gets the cards, and he's the one that's going to be uploading the videos and commenting. If anything comes from What the Card, 2 to 1 is from this guy. So that's with What the Card. As far as Twitch, I'm on there whenever I have the spare time. If you missed the live stream, don't worry. I take all the live streams, post live, and I put the videos on Frontline Gaming Zone, the gaming side of Comic Frontline. So if you miss any of my live shows because I don't have a schedule, don't worry. They'll be on Frontline Gaming Zone. Go subscribe to Frontline Gaming Zone, and then you won't miss out on any post-live streams that I do or any playthroughs that Mike does, anyone does, whether it be on my Twitch, then download it to Frontline Gaming Zone, or directly to Frontline Gaming Zone from whomever. Firestorm's been doing South Park Stick of Truth. He's been doing Batman. He's got a lot of awesome stuff as well. And that's really an abbreviated version. I've talked for over almost 20 minutes about what's going on outside of the reviews and inside the reviews. 2017 has been a real crazy ride. If you'd like to hear more, like I said, check out my podcast, episode 9. And I go through my summarization of 2017, but I'm really looking forward to 2018. I'm sure we all are looking forward to 2018. It's going to be hopefully a more high energy year and a more productive creative year for all of us. Myself, especially because I feel like 2017 I really lacked in the creative department. So hopefully next year, nothing new to announce. Nothing new to announce and nothing new, no dates for releases or anything. But I can tell you guys we are going to be working through and with what we have already, and hopefully building up what we have instead of adding more to the already filled plate that we have. So look forward to a lot of stuff. Have a happy new year, everybody. We'll see you guys in 2018. Hopefully, I'm aiming for Wednesday, Thursday next week so we can get the last week of this year's books out, and then we can go into the new format for the Dark Avenger comic book review. Thank you all so much for being a part of this show, not only the past year, but if any of you have been here since day one, we appreciate you guys. We love you guys. Thank you so much. And for those of you that jumped in the middle, don't think it means any less for you guys. Thank you for sticking around, whether it be just the past 2 episodes, past 20 episodes, past 100 episodes, past 200 episodes. You all are the reason why we continue to do these comic reviews each and every week for the past 420 plus weeks. Here's looking to 500, and here's looking to beyond that if we get beyond that. Thank you all so much. Happy New Year again, and we'll see you guys in the next review.
Hey, everybody.